a very sad end to a 2-day search for that missing girl, Athena Strand. Police say that a FedEx driver kidnapped and killed that 7-year-old girl.
On November 30th, 2022, 7-year-old Athena Strand disappeared from her home in Paradise, Texas. Just hours later, police would uncover a story so disturbing that it shocked the entire country. Athena had been home that afternoon with her father and stepmother. A FedEx truck arrived carrying a Christmas package for her. Inside the box were Barbie dolls. The driver who delivered that package was 31-year-old Tanner Horner. Before the day ended, Athena was gone. At first, her family believed she was hiding somewhere around the house after getting upset from a small argument. They searched every room, checked outside, and called her name again and again, but Athena never answered. Soon police cars filled the quiet roads around the home. Then the search became much bigger. Helicopters circled the area. Officers searched fields and empty land. More than 200 volunteers joined the search operation, while Athena's picture spread across social media. Nobody knew the man responsible was already watching the case unfold online. Athena Presley Monroe Strand was born on May 23, 2015. She was 7 years old when she disappeared. She was staying with her father, Jacob Strand, and stepmother Ashley Strand in Paradise, Texas. The town was small, quiet, and surrounded by open land. Cases like this almost never happened there. On the afternoon she disappeared, Athena was home after school. Earlier that day, a FedEx driver had stopped outside the house to deliver a Christmas package. That driver was Tanner Horner. Nobody around the house had any reason to fear him. He looked like a normal delivery worker, doing another stop on his route. But investigators would later say Athena crossed paths with the wrong person at the worst possible moment. Tanner Lynn Horner was 31 years old when police arrested him for Athena Strand's murder. He lived near Lake Worth, Texas, and worked as a FedEx delivery driver through an independent contractor company. Every day, he drove through neighborhoods delivering packages like any other driver. To people around him, he looked completely normal. Police later said Horner did not appear to have any serious criminal history before Athena's murder. Very little is publicly known about his early life, family background, or childhood. Before this case, his name had never appeared in national headlines. At the time Athena disappeared, Horner was working his normal delivery route in Paradise, Texas. That afternoon, he arrived at Athena's house carrying a Christmas package filled with Barbie dolls. Investigators later discovered he was the last known outsider seen near the property before Athena vanished. What made the case even more disturbing was how ordinary everything looked in the beginning. A FedEx truck stopping outside a home was not unusual. Nobody around the neighborhood had any reason to suspect the driver. Within hours, however, police would connect that same delivery driver to the disappearance of a missing 7-year-old girl. Investigators later built a timeline showing what happened after the FedEx truck arrived. According to prosecutors, Athena was outside, near the house, when Horner took her. Horner later told police that he accidentally hit Athena with his delivery truck while backing up and panicked after she threatened to tell her father. But investigators later challenged that version completely. Evidence shown during trial suggested Athena may not have been seriously hurt when she was first taken. Prosecutors also revealed a chilling detail. They said after Horner pulled Athena into the truck, he leaned down and warned her, "Don't scream or I'll hurt you." According to prosecutors, he repeated the threat twice.
On November 30th, a FedEx delivery man drove onto Athena's father's property to deliver a package of what was supposed to be a Christmas present for our daughter. This is the package, and it's the first time I'm seeing it. The package is containing "You Can Be Anything" Barbies. Athena was robbed of the opportunity to grow up to be anything she wanted to be. And this present, ordered out of innocence and love, is one she will never receive. Athena's favorite holiday was Christmas, as it is for many children everywhere. The joy Athena gave her family and the joy she felt on Christmas is something we will never feel with her again.
Police later found evidence suggesting Athena remained alive inside the truck for some time after the kidnapping. Investigators also believed she fought back. Instead of getting help or taking Athena home, Horner drove away from Paradise with the child trapped inside the truck. What happened next became one of the darkest parts of the investigation. According to police records, Horner later admitted he tried breaking Athena's neck. When that failed, he strangled her. Investigators believed the murder happened within about an hour after the kidnapping. The medical examiner later found multiple injuries across Athena's body, including injuries to her face, neck, head, chest, and back. Dallas County Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Jessica Dwyer determined Athena died from blunt force injuries combined with smothering and strangulation. During the investigation, prosecutors also explored whether Athena had been sexually assaulted. Dr. Dwyer testified she did not find direct evidence of sexual trauma during the autopsy, but she also stated some form of sexual contact could still have happened. After killing Athena, Horner drove away and dumped her body near Fort Worth. While hundreds of people searched desperately for a missing child, Athena was already dead. Back in Paradise, the search operation grew larger every hour. Police officers, volunteers, and emergency crews searched roads, ponds, woods, and open land. Athena's family hoped someone had taken her and would eventually let her go safely. Investigators quickly focused on vehicles and deliveries connected to the area around the house. That process brought them directly to Tanner Horner. Police discovered Horner was the last known outsider near the property before Athena disappeared. Investigators traced his delivery route and brought him in for questioning. At first, Horner tried presenting the situation as an accident caused by panic, but detectives kept pushing. Then the entire story collapsed. Horner confessed. He admitted kidnapping Athena. He admitted killing her. Then he led investigators to where he left her body. On December 2nd, 2022, police found Athena Strand's body near Fort Worth, Texas. The discovery ended all hope for Athena's family. Investigators now had a confession, physical evidence, GPS information, delivery records, and forensic evidence connecting Horner directly to the murder. But the investigation was not over. Police later discovered Horner searched Athena's name online after killing her. While volunteers and officers searched for the missing child, Horner was looking at missing posters, crime scene photos, and news reports about the case. Investigators later revealed he searched phrases including "Paradise Missing Girl" and "Do FedEx truck cameras constantly record?" Those searches became major evidence because prosecutors said they showed Horner was worried about surveillance footage and tracking the investigation in real time. Police also recovered evidence connected to the truck itself. Prosecutors later argued the evidence proved Athena stayed alive for a period inside the vehicle and suffered before she was killed. As more details became public, anger spread across Texas. People struggled to understand how a 7-year-old girl could disappear in broad daylight only minutes after receiving a Christmas delivery. And as investigators continued building the case, even more disturbing evidence would later emerge during the courtroom battle against Tanner Horner. After Tanner Horner confessed to kidnapping and killing Athena Strand, police officially arrested him. On December 5th, 2022, prosecutors charged him with aggravated kidnapping and capital murder. The case exploded across national news. People across Texas followed every update because the details were horrifying. A little girl had disappeared minutes after a FedEx delivery, and the delivery driver himself had confessed. Then investigators uncovered even more disturbing information. On December 22nd, 2022, Horner faced 3 additional charges involving sexual assault of minors connected to separate incidents from 2013. According to investigators, 2 teenage girls later came forward and accused Horner of assaulting them years before Athena's murder. That discovery changed how many people viewed the case. Police and prosecutors now believed Athena's murder was not the action of somebody who suddenly panicked during an accident. They believed something far darker had happened. In February 2023, a Wise County grand jury formally indicted Horner for kidnapping and capital murder. Only days later, District Attorney James Stainton announced prosecutors would seek the death penalty. Under Texas law, Horner now faced only 2 possible punishments if convicted: life in prison without parole, or death. On March 6, 2023, Horner appeared in court and pleaded not guilty. As the case moved toward trial, the attention around it became massive. Parents across Texas followed every hearing closely because Athena's murder touched a deep fear shared by families everywhere. A normal delivery truck had arrived at a house in broad daylight. Minutes later, a child was gone. Defense lawyers later requested that the trial be moved out of Wise County because of the intense public attention surrounding the case. In September 2024, a judge agreed and transferred the case to Tarrant County. The trial was originally supposed to begin in March 2025. Then, it was delayed for another year. That delay meant Athena's family had to wait even longer before hearing the full evidence presented inside a courtroom. During the months before trial, investigators continued reviewing evidence recovered from Horner's truck, his devices, online searches, GPS records, and forensic testing. By late 2025, prosecutors were preparing to show jurors some of the most disturbing evidence ever presented in a Texas courtroom. As trial approached, Horner's lawyers focused heavily on his mental condition and childhood. They argued Horner struggled with serious mental illnesses throughout his life. Experts hired by the defense later testified that Horner had diagnoses including autism spectrum disorder, Asperger's disorder, ADHD, bipolar disorder, depression, and anxiety. The defense also claimed Horner had experienced heavy lead exposure during childhood and cognitive problems growing up. His mother later testified she abused alcohol and drugs before learning she was pregnant with him, and continued smoking and using substances during parts of his childhood. Teachers from Horner's past also testified about learning difficulties and behavioral struggles during school. Defense attorneys hoped those details would convince jurors not to support the death penalty. But prosecutors pushed back hard. They argued none of those conditions stopped Horner from understanding right and wrong. And they pointed to evidence showing Horner tried protecting himself after the murder. The internet searches, the changing stories, the attempts to explain the kidnapping as an accident. Prosecutors argued those actions showed planning and awareness. On April 7, 2026, Tanner Horner finally entered the courtroom for trial. Then, something unexpected happened. Instead of forcing prosecutors to prove the case through a full guilt trial, Horner suddenly pleaded guilty to capital murder and kidnapping. That meant the courtroom battle immediately shifted towards sentencing. The only question left was whether Horner should spend the rest of his life in prison or be sentenced to death. Prosecutors then began presenting evidence piece by piece. Jurors saw footage, heard recordings, and listened to testimony describing Athena's final moments. Many people inside the courtroom reportedly cried during the evidence presentation. Some jurors sobbed. Even experienced courtroom workers struggled emotionally. One of the biggest moments came when prosecutors played recordings taken from inside Horner's FedEx truck. Investigators recovered dash camera footage and audio connected to the kidnapping. According to prosecutors, the recordings captured part of Athena's final hour alive. In one section played for jurors, Athena could reportedly be heard asking Horner, "Are you a kidnapper?" Prosecutors also revealed that Horner told Athena he thought she was pretty. According to testimony, he also demanded she remove her shirt. Athena refused. The recordings continued for more than an hour. Jurors listened as prosecutors described fear, struggle, and violence inside the truck. Prosecutors also introduced DNA evidence. Testing reportedly found male DNA matching Horner on Athena's body. Swab testing also supported prosecutors' belief that Athena may have been sexually assaulted before she died. That evidence directly challenged Horner's original claim that the situation began as a simple accident. District Attorney James Stainton repeatedly argued, Horner lied from the beginning. He accused Horner of creating false stories to make the kidnapping look accidental. Prosecutors also showed another disturbing piece of evidence. The day after Athena disappeared, search teams were standing near roads looking for her. Horner drove past them. One search volunteer reportedly told him a little girl had been abducted. Horner answered, "Are you serious?" At that point, according to prosecutors, Horner already knew Athena was dead. During sentencing hearings, 2 women testified that Horner sexually assaulted them years before Athena's murder. Both women said the assaults happened when they were teenagers. One woman testified Horner assaulted her after giving her alcohol until she became too drunk to properly consent. She also claimed Horner told her to lie about her age and tell people she was 18. Another woman testified Horner assaulted her while she slept, even though he knew she was not interested in him. Both women said they regretted not reporting Horner earlier. Their testimony became another major moment during sentencing, because prosecutors used it to argue Horner remained dangerous. One of Horner's own cousins also testified. He claimed Horner assaulted him during childhood, and once talked about wondering what it felt like to kill somebody. That testimony shocked the courtroom. During the trial, Horner tried explaining the murder by talking about an alternate personality he called Zero. Texas Ranger Sergeant Job Espinoza testified that Horner spoke about this alter ego during police interviews. According to investigators, Horner would suddenly change his voice, move his head strangely, and claim Zero committed the crimes. Horner later testified that after he supposedly hit Athena with the truck, he listened to a voice inside his head telling him to kidnap and kill her. But forensic experts challenged those claims. Psychologists later testified they did not believe Horner suffered from multiple personality disorder. Experts said his mental conditions did not force him to commit murder. Prosecutors argued Zero was simply another excuse. One of the most emotional moments came when Athena's family addressed the courtroom. Athena's father spoke about the pain left behind after losing his daughter. He explained how Athena's younger sister needed therapy because she kept having nightmares after hearing details about the murder. Then, Athena's uncle Elijah Strand stood in court and delivered a powerful impact statement. Fighting through tears, he told Horner that Athena was more than a victim. She was a daughter, sister, granddaughter, cousin, and friend. He said Horner destroyed his family's sense of safety forever. He explained that children in the family were now afraid to play outside. Then, Elijah looked directly at Horner. "You did not just take a life," he said. "You destroyed a family." Near the end of the statement, Elijah delivered words many people following the case would never forget. "I want you to know you are nothing," he said. "You are a footnote in Athena's story. Her name will forever be remembered. Everyone will forget you." In closing arguments, prosecutors described Athena's murder as one of the worst crimes imaginable. They argued Tanner Horner remained a danger to society and deserved the death penalty. Defense lawyers again asked jurors to spare his life and sentence him to prison instead. During the sentencing phase, jurors also heard about letters Horner wrote from jail before a suicide attempt. Investigators found several handwritten letters inside his jail cell, including one addressed directly to Athena's family. In the letter, Horner apologized for the murder and wrote, "I want to start by saying how sorry I am about Athena." He claimed he stayed awake many nights thinking about what he had done and said he prayed for Athena's family. Horner also wrote that his lawyers advised him not to apologize before trial, but he couldn't hold it in any longer. He blamed many of his struggles on mental health problems and said sudden changes at work made his condition worse. In the letter, Horner complained that delivery companies kept changing his FedEx routes and schedules, which he claimed caused emotional breakdowns and stress. He wrote that he needed stability and routine, but his employers ignored his requests and kept moving him between routes during the busy holiday season. Prosecutors, however, argued the letters did not change the facts of the case or the evidence presented in court. Then, on May 5, 2026, the jury reached its decision. Jurors unanimously recommended death. Judge George Gallagher officially sentenced Tanner Horner to death. After sentencing, Horner was transferred to Texas death row. But the story did not end there. Athena's murder changed laws, schools, and communities across Texas. Her father later filed lawsuits against Horner, FedEx, and the subcontractor company connected to his employment. Schools across Texas organized memorial events where students wore pink in Athena's honor. Toy company Mattel donated 2,000 Barbie dolls and toys to a children's hospital in her memory. Athena's mother also pushed for a new emergency alert system to help communities respond faster in missing child cases. The law later became known as Athena's Alert. And while the legal appeals in Tanner Horner's case may continue for years, Athena Strand's name remains remembered across Texas long after the man who killed her was taken away to death row. But one question still divides people to this day. Should someone like Tanner Horner spend life in prison, or was the death penalty the only possible punishment for what happened to Athena?